Alright, what we have here is a 18RG Toyota engine. Now, this is a pretty special unit, and if you haven't seen the previous episodes of Full Bore where I pull one of these out of my short wheelbase Hilux because unfortunately it swallowed a screw to rebuild it, well, I'd highly suggest going back and watching that episode because that will give you a clue as to what the heck's going on here. But that engine down there, it's pretty hard to see, is the engine out of Crumpy, the Hilux. It swallowed a screw down one of the spark plug tubes and unfortunately has cracked the heck out of a piston. This bad boy here, I actually bought from a town called Casino in northern New South Wales with the intention of using the best bits of this and the best bits of that engine to make a new motor for Crumpy. Now, unfortunately, what the go is that I haven't been able to fully get enough parts to make a good engine out of the two of them. And the main reason I've been stopped by that is this engine came with a set of original pistons for it. So I was just going to hone this, put the pistons back in it with a new set of rings. But the rings for this I cannot find, and I can't make a good set of pistons out of that one because, of course, one of them's completely shot. And what the go is that the top ring, the bottom, like the top and second ring for this are both 1.5 mil, and the oil control ring is a 4 mil. That one over there, the top ring is a 2 mil, second ring is a 2.5, and the oil control ring is a 4 mil. So apparently this is a later 18RG, and apparently the only place you can get the rings for it are from Japan. Now, I've done a bit of searching around to see whether or not I can find another engine of a similar vintage with the same dimension rings, and the only thing I could find was a 3SFE powered Toyota Camry. I can get the correct top and second rings, but I have to get the ring pack in a 1.5 mil oversize, and they no longer make it. So there is probably like maybe a set of rings out there for another manufacturer that might fit, but in all honesty I just don't have the time. And look, I thought to myself, is it really worth me spending all the time trying to find a set of rings for this engine? Rings set you back, you know, they could be in excess of $300-400, and they're going to be hard for me to track down. I'm going to end up with an engine which is going to be pretty schmicko, but it's really going to end up just in a bush bash hut and then thrashed about the property. So I don't want to spend too much money on it. This is going to need rings, a full gasket set. These things are renowned for doing timing chain guides, and if one of those breaks, then I'm really up the creek. So I've bit the bullet and I bought a new engine for Crumpy, and I'll show you that in just a moment. So what we have here is an 18R Toyota engine. So what this essentially is just a single overhead cam version of the engine that's been in Crumpy the entire time. And what the go is with this motor is that I drove up to Brisbane, so I live in northern New South Wales, drove up to Brizzy to pick this bad boy up for a whole $100 dues. Now, it is a bit of a shame because 18R is nowhere near as nice as an 18RG, but they are pretty indestructible other than rattly timing chains. And look, for $100, supposedly it runs. If I give it a wash down and chuck it in the car, Bob's your uncle. Also, it's just a single carby, so we won't have the tuning issues that we have endlessly had with the other one. And it will just bolt straight in. What we're going to do is going to whip the engine crane out, pull this motor out, get it out the back, give it a good going over. The tappet cover has been off it for quite a while and it looks a bit hairy going under there, but as long as it's not seized, it should be good. I'll just give that a real good wash out. It was actually pretty clean, all things considering, but I reckon it's just sat there with the rocker cover off of it for a period of time. Let's get cracking. Oh no. Maybe I should have looked at it a bit better when I picked it up.
That's not too bad, is it?
No, let's have a squeeze. They look almost fresh. Okay, we got all of the, well, it's pretty hard to see there, but look at that. That's just chock-a-block full of schmutz. Oh, there's another hole there. That obviously has some, that's an oil return to the bottom end. So what I've done is I found a couple bolts that kind of fit over those oil return holes. And of course it is imperative that I take them out because that could be a catastrophe. Just got to find one last bolt to slap in there and then we'll get spraying. Oh, you'll do. That looks like a EA Falcon exhaust manifold bolt if I'm not mistaken. So that'll just go boop in there like that. Don't know if you can see that. The trouble is on really summery days the contrast is a bit much for the camera to handle. Anyway, we'll see how we go. Oh, she's mint.
Cool.
So what we're doing now, got a bit of diesely petrol, or petrol-y diesel, depends. We've just poured it into the sump because it is so bad in there. We want to try and flush it out as good as possible. So we've just whacked the starter motor on the transmission plate, or whatever you want to call that thing. And we'll just crank it and let it prime. And see if we can get some of the oil to the, well, not oil, petrol-y diesel, to the top. And try and flush out all of the galleries. So that's how you professionally clean an engine.
I don't know about professionally. I reckon that was about 160
PSI.
170 PSI.
Yeah, right, eh? What was the difference between 1 and 2 though?
3 PSI.
Oh, yeah, right, eh? Right, that's pretty acceptable. It's within spec. That's looking way better than when we started. So we've still got that petrol-y diesel mix inside of it. We'll just let that sit overnight and then drain it out. Give it some time to break down all the ounce inside of the sump. And practically rebuilt. We can charge a customer a good $5,000 and send it on its way. Give it a bit of a with some black spray paint and boom.
And my thumb gauge is pretty accurate.
Yeah, well,
Thumb compression gauge.
made in Taiwan.
Genuine Australian.
Oh yeah, true.
That's looking a lot better.
That one there still got a little bit of rust on it, but
You want to do that a bit more then?
that was the offending article, that one, I think.
Stir it up a bit more.
Yep. You love getting old crap going, don't you, Dad?
Yep. Okay. Ready to see if we can get a bit of oil up top end.
Yep.
geezering out.
How much difference that made to the cranking speed when it built up.
Did this have a little couple washers or just metal to metal?
Just metal on metal. I didn't see any copper washers on it. So we've got the spark plugs in, and we're just going to see what the compression's like just using an audio compression check. Oh, it should be good to go, Dave. Oh, it's about as good as it gets, isn't it? Flaming heck. No doubt about it, Toyota really wanted that cam to never wear out because not only is it bathed in this big puddle of oil, but also this rail feeds oil right in before the rocker arm. Sweet. She's not really held on by much. Got the five-legged octopus. Got the that rotor button was all the way down, wasn't it?
Yeah. You ready?
Yep.
Spark. Points have probably got some smuts on them.
Very weak.
Might have to clean them with something.
This reminds you of your NRMA days.
Yeah.
Fixing HQ Holden's broken down on the side of the road. It's a bit of brake clean there.
Yeah, I don't want to put too much vapour in the dizzy.
Why, you don't want to blow the dizzy cap off? No.
Might put tab cover on.
Yeah, I'd say so. Yeah, timing chain's rattling more and more now, isn't it? Oh well.
It's no biggie, we'll make a little push rod and it'll sound perfect.
Yeah, oh yeah. I'm happy it runs as sweet as it does.
Yeah, no. Very happy little engine. Not smoky either.
No.
Not smoky at all.
Well, that pretty well concludes this episode of Full Bore, and I've got to say that's a good result. We managed to get that 18R running, and I was a bit sceptical about it at the start, considering that the motor had been sitting there without the tappet cover on it, as it seems for quite a while. And especially when I cracked the sump plug and watched all that water come out, I was a little bit worried. But that said, the motor only cost me $100, and if it was scrap, well, so be it. But we got it going with the help of Davo, the mechanical wizard, and we're going to be slapping that bad boy in Crumpy so we can go hit some tracks. That'll probably be the next episode of Full Bore or thereabouts, and the unfortunate thing about all of this is that the 18RG, that beautiful little twin cam Yamaha engine, is going to be consigned to sitting under the table over there because finding parts for them seems to be a massive pain in the rear end. But anyways, we'll go hit the tracks and we'll see you on the next episode of Full Bore.